In the story of world football, few names carry weight beyond goals and medals. Fewer still cross the invisible boundary between sport and history. And then there is Didier Drogba, the man who turned stadiums into altars and football into diplomacy, who kicked balls like thunder and spoke with the quiet power of a statesman. Born not into privilege, not into pedigree, but into movement and migration, Didier Drogba's life began as a series of departures, and in every step, from exile to emperor, he carried the invisible weight of his people, and somehow made it feel like flight. He was born on March 11, 1978, in Abidjan, Côte d'Ivoire, a city on the cusp of brilliance and breaking. The 1980s in Ivory Coast were a fragile balancing act, post-colonial optimism brushing up against economic decline and ethnic division. Drogba's early life mirrored the national story, a fight to belong, to rise, to unify. His parents, sensing what lay ahead, sent their son away before the cracks became canyons. At age 5, Didier boarded a plane to France to live with his uncle, Michel Goba, a professional footballer. Alone, uncertain, heart splintered between continents, the little boy began a life that would teach him resilience before he understood the word. Life in France was no fairy tale. It was cold. Not just the weather, but the looks, the streets, the classrooms where he stood out. He missed his mother's voice, his father's laughter, the warmth of his homeland. But Didier learned. He learned how to carry his pain quietly. He learned that strength wasn't noise, it was persistence. Football was always there. It wasn't a game. It was memory, rhythm, inheritance. He played on the streets, in muddy parks, with shoes too small and goals made from garbage cans. The ball became his first friend, his only therapist. He wasn't a prodigy, not like the others. At 15, he was still awkward, his stride too heavy, his touch raw. But he had fire. He had something deeper, hunger, a need not just to play, but to prove, to repay, to make the sacrifices of his parents and uncle matter. He trained through injury. He studied the defenders he couldn't outrun, watched their feet, their hips, their fears. He built himself piece by piece, one part warrior, one part scholar, one part survivor. His professional debut came late by modern standards, Le Mans, at age 21. But Drogba wasn't interested in early flowers. He was an oak, growing slow and strong. Injuries set him back. Coaches doubted him. He was told again and again he wasn't ready. But Didier had heard worse. He'd walked through worse. And every time someone said no, he grew sharper. Guingamp signed him next, a small club with small ambitions. Drogba made them dream. In one season, he scored 17 goals, not just with his feet but with his soul. Every goal was a roar against every doubt. Marseille came calling. He answered. At Marseille, he became a cult hero. In one unforgettable season, he scored 32 goals. He lit up Ligue 1, terrorized Europe, and captured hearts with a mix of brute power and unlikely grace. He didn't just score, he commanded. He played like a man who knew time was running out. He wasn't 18 anymore. He had to make every match count. Chelsea noticed. Mourinho noticed. In 2004, Drogba crossed the channel and destiny. Chelsea had seen greats, but not like him. Drogba arrived with broad shoulders, sharper elbows, and a mission. He was raw, emotional, combustible, but he was also magnetic. In a team full of stars, he became the symbol, the player you looked to when hope began to bleed out. In big games, he became inevitable. 9 finals, 10 goals. He didn't just rise to the moment, he swallowed it whole. He scored headers like explosions, held up the ball like an anchor in the storm, fought defenders like a heavyweight boxer with ballet shoes. But it wasn't just the physical. It was the myth, the presence, the way he lifted teammates, the way fans said his name like a prayer. Drogba. One syllable, earth-shaking. And then came Munich, 2012, the Champions League final. Chelsea battered, exhausted, second best. Bayern Munich at home, pounding. 88 minutes in, Chelsea corner. Drogba rose. Time stopped. The ball flew like fate. Goal. Extra time. Penalty shootout. Drogba stepped up last. One kick, one breath, one release. Chelsea crowned champions of Europe for the first time. Drogba, immortal. But his greatest moment didn't come on grass. It came in a locker room in 2005. Ivory Coast had just qualified for their first World Cup. The country was at war, politically, ethnically, spiritually. A brutal civil conflict had torn it apart. Families divided, villages burned, futures shattered. Drogba took a microphone, surrounded by teammates of every background, Christians, Muslims, Northerners, Southerners. He dropped to his knees. On live TV, he begged, "Ivorians, please, we beg you, forgive. Put down your weapons. Organize elections. Let us all live together." The room was silent. The nation was watching. And then, something happened. A week later, a ceasefire was signed. Because of a footballer? No, because of a man who understood his power and used it. Drogba didn't stop. He brought national matches to rebel-held cities. He didn't just talk peace, he walked it. When Ivory Coast played in Bouak, the heart of the rebellion, it was no longer just a game. It was history rewritten. Militants cheered with soldiers. Opponents became fans. For 90 minutes, there were no enemies, only Ivorians. After football, Drogba gave back, built hospitals, sponsored education, raised millions, mentored youth, spoke for Africa on global stages, turned down politics, but never turned down people. He lived with dignity, led with humility. He had nothing as a child and gave everything as a man. He retired in 2018, not as a striker, but as a hero. Didier Drogba's legacy is not his goals, not even his trophies. It is his humanity, the way he made football feel like family, the way he made enemies shake hands, the way he made the world believe that one man, in the right moment, with the right heart, can change everything.